recordings you need, and this is expressed in recording time, and this is accuracy. So after only half a second of recording, you get already, for a few subjects, way above 90% accuracy. So it's an extremely fast paradigm. Half a second is enough to look at the target to resolve it. Okay, so this way we can do more. Second solution is phase coding. So you have a target here flickering at 15 Hertz, but you can have it at different phases, 0 phase, pi over 2 pi, or 3 pi over 2, so different phases. So we call it phase coded stimulation. And you can resolve from the spectrum by doing a Fourier analysis. You can resolve not only the fundamental frequency and the harmonics, but also the phase of them. You can extract also the phase spectrum, not only amplitude spectrum, by using that formula here. But as you know, extracting phase from Fourier's spectra is not easy. It's not without problems. It's not a preferred method to do it. You need a lot of long recordings to make it happen. So you can have more better techniques simply by looking at the latency of the maximum peak, right? So if I go back previously, when does the peak occur in my signal is an indication of the phase. It's a very simple concept. We have also, that's our own work here, we have actually training a neural network with using multivalued neurons that code for the cosine and sine components of the signal. And so you have a cosine and a sine template, if you like. You pick up the matching coefficients for that, and that provides you with an imaginary, a complex valued number with a real imaginary component, and this can be trained to resolve the phase. Oops, yeah. So here it is. So then, phase, of course, is apart from detecting it itself, what sort of algorithm to use in practice in EEG, phase is a problem. Phase is not so stable, like the amplitude. Phase is less stable, and it provides yields a lot of problems. So here you see we had 6 targets with 6 different phases here. So every number here indicates a phase of a particular target, and the colored points are actually indicating what we can resolve, what phase we can extract from our EEG signal, and the colored arrows are then the averages. So you see that, it's no longer uniform by the arrows here. You see that they're no longer uniformly partitioning the phase circle, one thing. Second thing is that you have a lot of overlaps in the color of the dots, so you make a lot of mistakes here. For this particular electrode, for example, for another electrode combination, a bipolar one, you get even more mistakes. And then in this CCA, we will talk about it later, canonical correlation analysis. This is the method actually for this kind of paradigm, for the SSVP paradigm. You see that it works a bit better. You can a bit better resolve the less overlaps. And this is still another solution in terms of combining different electrodes. So this is even better. So you can, this is then, what is reported in papers is always like that. The methods, different methods, bars indicate different methods. The accuracy here, and as a function of the recording length, of 1 second, 2 seconds, 3, 4, 5, and the longer your recording sessions, the better the accuracy, of course. And then you see several methods. So ours was here the dark red one. So you get this kind of result. Typically, after a few seconds, you get a performance that is acceptable, way above 90%. Then solution 3, next slide, slide 25, mixing of frequency and phase. It seems logical. So you have different frequencies, but these are different phases. So for 10 hertz, you have all these different phases. For 12 hertz, different phases, and so on. And these are then, for example, the phase circles. So you have 6 phases for 10 hertz. 5 phases for 12 hertz, 4 phases for 15 hertz. So you see less phases as in frequency increases. This is already an indication that it gets harder. And this is then the result, the actual, what can be extracted in terms of the phases that can, these are the averages, what phases can be, how they can be extracted. And you see that there is a delay. Between the actual stimulus phase and the resolved phase, you see that there is a, here it is, there is a delay. There is the phase circle turns, and there is also a non-equal partitioning of the phase circle. So, and it's also very highly dependent on the subjects, and it leads to very complicated solutions. These algorithms are pretty complicated and also complicated to tune, but the paper reports 15 targets that could be resolved. You can actually look at more advanced techniques to decode these kind of SSVPs in terms of frequency as well as phase. And the more modern techniques, as I said before, are not only looking at a black box approach where you train a classifier and that's it, but they also account for more information about your signal in terms also of noise, for example, and stuff like that. So these solutions are beamforming and canonical correlation analysis. So CCA is the technique of this kind of paradigm of SSVP. You see it everywhere. There are a lot of extensions, so to say, being proposed to further improve the algorithm. And beamforming is something that we have been developing in our group. That is competing with the CCA, and beamforming has the big advantage that it is not only usable for SSVP but other paradigms as well. So you have a more generic paradigm. You can use it for P300, for SSVP, for MVEP, for different types of paradigms, and this makes it more transparent. While CCA is only for SSVP being used. Let me start with beamforming. So you have heard about the cocktail party effect, so that you have, for example, different microphones placed in a cocktail party, and you can resolve the speech from one individual out of the cacophony of the other people talking by the fact that these different microphones have a different angle on the person talking, person of interest talking, and by so-called spatial filtering, by weighing the different microphones in a particular way, you can extract the speech of the target person. So we call this beamforming. By the different colors here, and you see different mixtures are being picked up. And what is beamforming then doing? Beamforming is actually weighing the contribution from these different electrodes in such a way that the source of interest is resolved. For example, if you're interested in the blue source in the brain, then a good way to do it is subtract FPZ from FCZ, for example. Then you will see that the common parts will disappear, and the blue thingy will remain. And so this is of course assuming that you know what is the signature on the scalp of your target source. So you need to form a template of what is my target source, so that you could use that template to extract when things get mixed, to extract what is of interest to you.